As we know, the winter months are out of the way and spring is in full gear. That means it's time to start planning spring and summer activities for the whole family.
That's right. Today, Maria Maldonado Smith joins us to talk about how we can achieve these spring and summer activity goals with a vision board, something I've always wanted to do. They look like so much fun.
They are. They're an absolute fun. We do them with our family every year, but then we revisit them monthly throughout the year just to check in because goals change.
Right.
Things that we want change throughout our lives, throughout our year. But they're a great way to engage with your family for sure.
Oh, I mean, because you can sit down and do it together, and that's part of this. Just the whole construction of sitting down with everybody and saying, all right, here's what we want to do. So take us through the process.
Yeah, so we do ours at the beginning of the year, but really I always say your year can start whenever you decide to do this process. It can start at the end of the school year if you'd like to just plan for your summer and you just want to engage with your family or your kids and say, you know, what are some activities that you might want to do, whether it's pool days or we have the fortunate or added bonus of living in South Florida right now. So we're close to the beach. So for us, it's beach days. But you know, maybe going to the zoo, going to the horse park, you know, doing different activities, but giving your children that autonomy and freedom to say these are some of the things that we really like and we would like to do. It also gives them an opportunity to start setting goals and seeing them through to fruition.
How long has this been something that you've been doing?
Really since I was about 8, and probably in various different forms, but a teacher actually explained to us, like, hey, set goals, and I kind of took that and probably elevated and escalated it to what it is now, which is a program that I take into corporations called Executive Vision Imagery. But it really started at home. Before I took this into corporations, you know, we had been living this out as a family, discussing with our children who are 16, 14, and 7, and it's great to even see our 7-year-old engage in this and say, you know, I want to read these books, or I want to go here, or I want to eat these foods. It's, you know, it's fun, and we have just a fantastic time. It's a great way to bring our family together and to connect.
So what kind of lessons, because it seems like this is just packed full of it, what kind of lessons can the children learn from this?
Yeah, so they're learning a lot. They're learning, one, you know, responsibility. They're learning resilience. They're learning that not everything, you know, they're learning to be patient. They're learning that things don't happen overnight. So when you have these goals that sometimes take a year or even longer, they're learning patience. They're learning how to set those goals, and they're also learning how to form habits that they build daily to lead up to that. So we teach them that it's small, manageable tasks every day, and we use a lot of Post-it notes, we use a lot of affirmations, we use a lot of things to remind them and keep them focused. But that's where those monthly meetings are crucial, because it's just a way for us to revisit the board. We have like a big, massive board, and we'll come back to it. We put all of our words of the year on it. We put all the goals we're individually working on, because we're each working on like kind of one big goal, and it's just a way for us to engage with them continuously, because as they get older, you know, the less and less they want to talk to us.
Now, you mentioned you live in Florida now, but
Yes.
you are from Kentucky, and you were a Miss Kentucky, so you know all about goal setting. You're very familiar.
I am very familiar with it, yes. And that was actually one of my goals when I was 8, and our teacher asked us to write down goals. That was one of the goals I wrote down, was to be Miss Kentucky. You know, I'm a daughter of an immigrant, so I wanted to go to college and graduate college because he came to this country, and so education was very important and stressed upon us. And then the third thing I have actually, which is why I stress this when I work with younger kids and even with people in corporations, because our minds do change. I wrote that I wanted to be a United States Senator, and I have no intention of doing that. So I think our minds change, and I think what I wanted, you know, at 8, maybe I don't want anymore.
Right.
What I wanted last year, I might not want right now. And so it's also teaching our children that it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to evolve and redirect. But yes, I do think I took a lot of my goal setting tactics and things. I gathered a lot of that from my competition days, and they've carried me into my corporate career. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
You have, and speaking of career, I mean, you have a firm, and this is your life every single day.
It is, which I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. I love going into corporations and talking with people. I love working with individual clients on college campuses, working with sororities and fraternities. I love working with couples. I mean, anyone that comes across my path and says, I would love to create the vision for my life, I am all for it, and I want to help them do that.
You even have a workbook over here.
Yes, I do.
Yep. Tell us about that.
Yes. So this explains the process. So it's a 5-step process, and I know that might seem to some like overwhelming, but it really walks them through how to get started. And I always say too, with families especially, some questions you can ask your kids is like, what do you want? Just simply asking your kids, what do you want? Not that we're going to be able to make everything happen, but just engaging with them in those types of conversations and questions. Who do they want to become? We always tell our kids, I'm not really so focused on what you want to do with your life right now, but I'm really focused on who you're becoming, because I want to raise kind humans. And so we talk a lot with our kids, and I talk a lot with youth about who is it you want to become. This third thing is, what do you want to create? What is it that you're seeking to create in your life or build? And then from there, get started with the workbook. It's a great resource to walk you through the process. And then I even brought some materials and some sample images just to get you started, especially for the summer, because travel's big.
Right.
You know, those summer reading goals for kids are big. And so how can we start to plan our summer effectively so that when we go back to school in the fall, it's not this mad rush and this overwhelm.
You can make it happen.
Yes, absolutely.
And for more information on everything, and maybe you want to talk to Maria, you want her to come show up. I mean, MMSconsultingfirm.com. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you guys for having me.